Alright guys, today we'll be going over a few different little mini projects for the truck, including relocating my front anytime camera so it's actually functioning and I can use it. But first, quick update regarding the interior of the truck. I finally, after it feels like at least a month, I finally have everything back put together, fully reassembled for the center console here on the inside of the truck. I had taken this apart for multiple little painting projects, getting rid of some of the silver trim. Obviously you can tell right there with the major piece. And while that was out, I went in and tackled the anytime camera mod, which of course gets all wired up behind the head unit. And down here I installed an airbag switch for the passenger seat airbag, which was needed to get the Scion FRS seat airbag to work on the passenger side. It's been forever since I've had this fully back together, not like I'm driving the truck anyway because of quarantine, but man, it feels good to have everything put together. Tons of stuff going on here. Many of you have noticed I have not had the tech deck on the truck forever. Back on, you can see, with my radio holder right here, the various things, the fly's eyes, underlight tucked back in there. Obviously the 2T PAM, everything like that installed. I also had this out for a while because I was having an issue with my USB port right there. I thought I messed up something because I noticed it stopped working immediately after I did the anytime camera mod. So I went through a whole thing contacting the company saying, you know, what's going on, any ideas. They actually did some research for me and got back to me saying, you know, they showed me which plug on the back of the head unit is involved in the USB connection and none of their wires for the unit actually mess with that at all. So I went through all this stuff and I'm sharing this with you because I broke the cardinal rule of trying to figure out when something goes wrong, of starting with the easiest thing first. I went through all this stuff. I even got a separate head unit just to test to see if it was an issue on the inside of the head unit where the USB actually connects in there. Got it for free from a local Tacoma World member. If you're watching, thank you so much, buddy. So that wasn't it. And finally, I was digging around here just getting ready to push the USB port out to see if anything was wrong with that. Since I pulled this one, I could access it with my finger back there.
That's what she said.
And I was feeling around and this wasn't even plugged in. Now I have no idea what happened with that. I don't remember unplugging it. It must have happened either when I installed the airbag switch or when I had this all out and I was running the stuff for the front rear camera switch. But it's weird because to unplug these you have to depress a little clip and then pull it out. So I wouldn't think it could just fall out by, you know, getting bumped by stuff back there. But anyway, that's what happened with that. I do feel like an idiot. Just sharing it with you guys to make sure if you guys have any kind of issues on your truck, start with the easiest solutions first. Glad my USB is working because that's how I listen to music in my truck, whether on a thumb drive or just plugging my iPod in. So definitely gonna have to take a cruise today and listen to the latest by Celine Dion. And now that that's out of the way, moving to the back of the truck for the next little mini update. Oh, I gotta exercise more. Now, if you guys have been watching the channel for a long time, you would know I had my CB whip antenna actually mounted on the bed rack. Top of the bed rack here, but obviously not running the bed rack anymore, so I made a little bracket, and this is about the extent of my fabrication skills. This is just some of that. I think it's 2-inch wide steel flat bar you can get at Home Depot. Drilled a little hole to mount it to my bed rack right here, and another hole with bare metal underneath, of course, for the connections for the CB antenna. That is what it looks like. Super pumped with it. Reception is crystal clear, and I got some of these cool little clips right here. I will link these down in the description below if you are interested in grabbing them to help tuck electrical wires when they are in areas like this where they can't actually be hidden. Stupid pollen out of the way. We got 3M adhesive on the back side. Obviously, once I wiped this down with alcohol, I just affixed it and made it as tight as possible, just with a little slack up here, tucking it around and running it down. So that is a nice clean way to run wires that are, there's no way around it, they have to be out in the open. And now for the main part of today's vid, I will actually be relocating. This is the camera that came with the anytime front rear camera mod. I will put a link to that video right up here. You can check that out. And some of you did notice when I showed the image from this camera, it was inverted. That's because you can see it's mounted like that or like that. I actually had this first mounted like this, so with the threaded part right here parallel to the ground, and I had it mounted right here in the center of the slot above my fair lead. First of all, you guys are running the same setup. That is way too low to actually have a decent image to use for this because this is not a dash camera. This is just a forward-facing camera you can use when parking in tight spots at the mall. I mean, when you're off-road, you know, for that approach angle, stuff like that, just to give you a better view of what's coming up, since obviously you can't see right here. electronic spotter, if you will. So that's way too low to be able to get a good sense of your surroundings right here. So I'm gonna mount it, and I already removed my grill up here, but at the top part of my grill here in the middle, whereas before I had it mounted like this, the correct way so the image is not inverted is to have the camera facing forward and the threaded part perpendicular to the ground. So I'll be mounting it like this so it's hanging downward. Here is what the factory Tacoma grill looks like, and this is what I was running on my truck for the longest time. And as you can see, if you are running this and are going to be installing the same front-facing camera, plenty of places to mount it with that vertical position. You can drill it under here. Of course, if you want it centered right under the Toyota logo, you could probably even get it to work up here some way. The back of this, if you just drill a little pilot hole for it, completely open so you can attach it with the nut. But I had to be difficult and get a different front grill. So this is what I'm working with now. You can see nothing to mount this to as far as doing it in that vertical position to get the image correct. However, the top of this mesh right here, there's a little play in it, and there's a slight lip right here. I feel like if I take my Dremel tool right here, I'm just going to center it up on the top lip. There's a small lip right here. I feel like if I drill a small hole, there it is right there, maybe 1/4 inch to run the threaded part through so it's installed like that. I feel like that will work, and the back side of it, we'll see. I should be able to get it, since it does stick up high enough, I should be able to get it to work to get it securely fastened with maybe some washers and a nut just to get that tightened down, and then run the wire to be able to plug it in. So this is what I'll be doing today. Alright, got this thing set up on my little workstation. It's sort of hard to, hopefully you guys will be able to see on camera.
Damn you 15s!
But I got the center marked on the top. Underneath, obviously it's flipped upside down. This is 15 inches on center. Got the blue tape down with my mark. I was considering using one of my automatic center punches like this to mark a little starting point, but this thing hits with a decent amount of force. I'm afraid it might crack the fiberglass or plastic. I'm not really sure what the front grille is made out of. So I think I'm just going to go in without a center punch line with my Dremel, just slowly and surely, because I'm not sure if this ridge right here, which looks like it's about a 1/2 inch wide, if that's going to be sufficient. If not, I'll just notch it into the grill a little bit with my Dremel, but either way it should work out. So fingers crossed, here we go. That is the drill bit I'll be starting with just to get the hole started, then I can widen it out with something else. And it's going to be kind of weird since I'll be going in at an angle, since obviously the width of the Dremel starts to hit the mesh up here. A little nervous about it, but not too nervous, just because this is the underside, so if anything gets messed up, I'm not really going to see it anyway. Well, got the first hole going. That wasn't too bad, even though I was doing that one-handed versus two, just to hold the top of the grill from shaking around. So let's peel off the tape, see what we got here. All right, there's no cracks in it. That's good. Check it out from the backside. Okay, now so to widen it, I have this set of bits right here. This is like metal deburring bits, but it should be fine for this application. I think I'm going to use this one. It's sort of rounded off versus being sharp, if I can get this out here. Use this one right here since it is sort of domed versus pointed, and slowly press it in and widen out the hole / notch for the rest of the threaded bolt. All right, good news, I got it to fit through. The bad news, and this is really just unavoidable, because of the offset, the stud that you thread on the nut to hold this on is not centered on the thing. It's actually offset to the backside. When you're viewing it from the top, it does stick out just a little bit, but I mean, it's black, it blends in, and really there's no way around that if I want to mount this high enough to actually be able to use it and have a good functional view for the camera. That's what it'll look like from the front. I don't think it'll really be that noticeable. I mean, I'm fine with it. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. I do need to be able to get the bolt on the back. There's the threaded part. I think I'm going to go ahead and notch down some of this metal right here, just like a little rectangular cut that will sit flush with the bottom of the plastic, so I can thread the nut on and get this tightened up. And there it is with the nut on. You can see made a little notch right here in the top of the metal. Obviously I'm going to take this off. This isn't tightened down all the way. Still need to take it off and get some touch-up paint on this so it doesn't rust, but that is it. Go ahead and paint this real quick and get everything put back together. And to run the wire and get it sort of tucked away cleanly, these are the same clips I actually used for the antenna up there. Just wiped off the plastic under here with some rubbing alcohol. Got one. These come in like 100 packs, so I wasn't afraid to use too many. Just keep the wire nice and tight here. Use 4 of them right here. Then I'll run the rest of this after I get the grill installed and get it plugged in and test everything out. And actually, now that everything is back in place, the front hoop of my bumper does a great job of hiding the camera. You can see it poking down right there. And of course, since it's black, it blends in nicely. So even though it does stick out just a little bit, like a ½ inch there from the top, not a huge deal in my opinion. I think it'll be fine. And let's go ahead and show you the image it gives you now mounted, what, I don't know, 1.5 feet higher than where I had it before. And quick stationary shot. Much better. I might even see, I'm gonna see what it looks like driving around, but I might even see if I can actually tilt the top of the camera down a little so there's like a little angle. It's not 90 degrees with where it's mounted. If it's sloped a little bit at the top, I want to be able to maybe see the part of my bumper, since I'll use this like for determining approach angle if I'm going to hit anything like shopping carts in the mall or the occasional rock when I go off-road. But much better than it was before, where it was literally like a foot off the ground, practically useless. So loving the way this looks. Let's see what it looks like when I'm driving around. All right, everybody, that will do it for this video. Let me know what you think of the camera relocation. Hopefully get it fine-tuned, get that angle a little bit better for the front, but very pleased with the results so far. As always, thank you so much for supporting the channel by watching this video. Hopefully you can take advantage of the beautiful weather if you're having it in your neck of the woods and do some fun things to your truck. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.